introduce you. Okay, good evening. This is Debbie Davis, and I have a friend named Tommy Edwards, who is another targeted individual. On we we were gonna try to do a Zoom link, but I've had issues with Zoom before where I've recorded the whole thing and then at the end and then I couldn't upload it. So we just decided to just kind of do a quick FaceTime interview this time, and then we're gonna try maybe a Zoom link some other time. But I just want to introduce Tommy Edwards, and just tell this is Tommy Edwards. He's another targeted individual, and you're in Virginia.
Yes, I'm in Virginia.
Virginia, Tommy. Yeah, and Tommy and I have been on um, the radio show, Susie's radio show. Yeah. What is it called again? Yeah, Beyond the Box. Yeah. So we were on Beyond the Box together. It's Susie and Bree's show. If you want to check that out. I was on there, Debbie Davis on Beyond the Box, and then she had Tommy on multiple times, Tommy Edwards, and Susie is our friend from Texas, and so that's how we met. And Susie's a horse trainer from Texas, professional horse trainer. But Tommy was a professional, he was a professional college football, and he played for about 12 years.
I played 12 years of football total. I played 4 years of college football, Division I level, at Virginia Tech and Boise State. And then I went on to become a professional skateboarder in my late 20s. And owned a skateboard company and done a bunch of different stuff. Started and ran a nonprofit organization after the shootings at Virginia Tech for about 8 years.
Okay.
And for mental health awareness as a way to destigmatize mental illness and educate education, community education for mental health awareness as a way to prevent school shootings.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
A goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was targeted for a disruption campaign starting in 2007 when I did that.
Because you started this campaign to try to help people with these things.
Yeah.
And then you started getting on this targeted program just for trying to help people.
Well, yeah. Well,
you think?
Yeah. It was more of a disruption campaign at the time, and then I became targeted individual when I started speaking out about CTE awareness, which is neurological health.
Concussions from the football playing.
Well,
right?
Concussions.
Or from whatever.
It's an accumulative effect of every blow to your head. Subconcussive, concussive, all of it. You can get CTE and never have had a concussion that's been like witnessed or documented.
Yeah. I have. Yeah, I think. I think there's a lot of people, like in the military. If things would go off and we were deployed, they still don't really know for sure how far away you can have a TBI.
Military. Are susceptible to CTE as well. In any type of like contact or collision sport or like gladiatorial or combat sport or domestic violence. It's an accumulation of damage to the brain that causes the tau proteins that when synapses break, they're bundled in these tau proteins, and the tau proteins they unravel, and when they do that, at some point they start to self-replicate, and it further chokes off the capillaries and causes more cell death, and then more and more regions of the brain die, and then those synapses die. And then those tau proteins do the same thing, and it just is a degenerative condition that just gets worse.
Oh wow!
But yeah,
and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about this issue at all. Yeah.
Well, there for a while there's some talk about it, and I was very vocal about it going back to 2000. I mean, even started about 2010. I was really looking into that phenomenon and the information coming out about that, because I had some sudden mental health issues when I was in college that align with early symptoms of CTE, and other things too. But there's lots of things that play into it. But it's not a new thing. It's something that, I mean, they first defined it as boxer's dementia back in the 20s, like 1928, and then again in 32 they changed it to dementia pugilistica, which is, it's dementia from boxer's dementia, essentially. Yeah. Uh-huh. And punch drunk was what they initially called it, punch drunk. Uh-huh. But it's the brain can heal itself and repair things only to a certain level. Mm-hmm. And when there are all these little tears and injuries that happen over and over and over and over and over and over again over the course of years, then that really builds up, and like the pressure, like the things that happen to the brain when they're absorbing, two massive or more bodies in motion that collide at high speed. The brain moves inside the brain. The body stops, but the brain it sloshes. It moves back around, and the energy, the kinetic energy the body has to absorb that. The brain absorbs all of that force, partially by that thud that happens, and the noise that happens, the kinetic sound, but also the brain it sloshes back and forth, and it twists and turns and pulls and compresses and stretches, and massive amounts of force, especially on the internal parts of the brain. Uh-huh. And then eventually it ends at like a rotary motion going down the brainstem. Uh-huh. The brainstem, and all like the amygdala and all the sympathetic parts of the brain, and like that take care of our breathing and heartbeat, and all those things become at risk. And the brain controls everything. So right. So I mean, it's like there's the old saying that says, you know what every concussion has in common? What? Nothing. Nothing. They're all different. Oh yeah, really? Yeah, because the brain. Because it depends on what area of the brain. Yeah, and it could, each concussion could be a different area of the brain. Right. And as the brain starts to starve itself off of its own source of blood, mm-hmm. then you get more and more regions that die. Mm-hmm. And it's like Muhammad Ali is a good example of someone that had CTE. Yeah. But there's been some really famous football players and other athletes too from mm-hmm. action sports. I mean, rodeo, all kinds of any type of collision sport. Right. MMA, all those things. From all the walks of life been found to have. Yeah. That's positive for it. But right. Yeah. Yeah, all those sports. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I became really vocal and became one of the leading voices internationally for CTE awareness via through Twitter, actually. And there were a group of really impassioned people, journalists, researchers, scientists. Mm-hmm. There were some economists. There was a retired state of North Carolina Supreme Court justice, mm-hmm. and the former high school football coaches. And there was this campaign, this very well orchestrated campaign to destroy the lives of those people. And I mean, it became really obvious that people, like all these different groups that were unrelated and not connected, mm-hmm. were all of a sudden saying things about me and attacking me using the exact same verbiage. Like they were following a script. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the type of people that comment on my channel. They always say the same type of thing, like they're following a script. And I started realizing that after a while, that it's almost like, okay, is this even a real person, like a bot? And then it's just, and after a while, at first you're like, who are these people? Why do they hate me so bad? I'm just a military, I just was an accidental witness to a crime. Like it was so like
not appropriate to go after a veteran that way. But these people that do this are really out of their minds. They're like MK Ultra people, like CIA people that are paid to come after us.
Definitely have the CIA folks in my life.
And CIA, yep. And so I wanted to touch on that. And so
Fusion Center folks.
Yeah, so you've had people follow you just because you were a little too vocal on that type of thing, and maybe like people like, and they just wanted to shut you up, or they.
Oh yeah, they definitely wanted to shut me up. Mm-hmm. I started to impact the economy in the region because people were, first of all, parents weren't allowing their kids to play football.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so that's gonna impact the whole like sports scene and everything. Yeah.
For the NFL, for the NCAA, all of it.
Yeah.
But so and Virginia Tech is huge. Like my freshman year, I helped lead them to a bowl game. It was the first of 27 straight bowl appearances. Which was like the second longest streak in football history. And we went from like ranked 89th preseason to the top 20 in one season. And I mean, Virginia Tech's very like well entrenched and well connected with the CIA, and also with DARPA.
What is
Virginia Tech?
Oh, Virginia Tech is connected with the CIA.
Oh yeah, very much so. It's right there in Virginia.
Oh yeah, Virginia, yeah.
Foreign Military Institute, and there's they do a ton of recruiting from Tech. Tech's like considered the MIT of the South.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
and
they recruit from those type of places. And,
DARPA contracts.
Yeah.
And research contracts, but also like the head of clandestine services for the CIA currently is a 1983 Virginia Tech grad who started working for the CIA when she was a sophomore at Tech.
Wow. Well, and so I've had a lot of these people after me for years now, and I just I know they're CIA because now that I know more about the agency, and they all kind of act the same way, and it's just like, okay. And I've had people in my family, unfortunately, that I found out are, like I told you, and I didn't know they were for years, but they all started acting the same way, like they're all on the same kind of mind control. So it's like I don't, they don't tell them anything about, that you're going to be on a mind control program when you join the CIA. Like as sophomore in college, I'm sure they don't tell them the whole story, Because they all become psychopaths after a while,
Her dad was CIA prior to that. He was actually OSS, I believe. But
okay.
Which is the CIA. And nowadays, I mean, the CIA does a lot of the contracting, but they utilize a lot of private military-industrial complex, corporations and security firms to do the gang stalking. And to oversee, that way there's plausible deniability.
Yeah, they use like third party. Oh no, it wasn't us. It was this party or this party. That's what I noticed. Okay. Yeah, third party. Third party agencies to do their dirty work, and then you can never, bring it back on them. Yeah, or they'll change the name of a company or something. Yeah.
And those folks generally they have the leeway to do things like hire criminals, and coerce people and blackmail people to do things, but to give leniency for criminals through by getting them to snitch or to infiltrate someone's life or to disrupt or street theater or honeypot traps, or make
I mean, it's always baffling to me. Like, what do they tell these people, or what do they pay these people to do this nonsense to us? This street theater, and these people that are paid to spy on us, or pretend to,
Some people, like InfoGuard, they have to pay for a membership to participate in it, and they do it out of a sense of
patriotism to the deep state.
Yeah, but it's like they're being lied to, and they're being manipulated.
It's like, what are you told? Like, are you told that I mean, at first I'm like, seriously, you're told the wrong information. I've tried to talk to these people. It's like, what have you been told about me? Or try to talk to the cops or whatever. But they all seem like they're just following orders, and they really are not. You can't really talk to them or reason with them. Has that been your experience? Or.
So, yeah, for the most part, I mean, I've had people tell me what's going on, and like, and you know, like, they hire a narcissist and
a narcissist type personality to begin with. Yeah, they do like a profile, I'm sure, before they allow you to be, like, if you're going to be a good candidate in the CIA. I wouldn't be, because I wouldn't do these type of things to anybody. I have too much of a conscience, so I wouldn't be a good candidate.
Those types of personality types like to brag.
Yeah.
They want you to know it's them.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So I'm really good at like pattern recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And like putting the dots together, and like putting the pieces together and figuring things out. Like I've figured out mostly on my own, and like to the point where I finally got someone to crack and tell me what was going on, and she was
really?
An asset of the CIA, and she.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that she actually told you.
Yeah.
And then some of the stuff.
And she confirmed like a long list of people who had been handlers throughout my life, going back to high school. And so I mean, that aspect has been a part of my life since before I was targeted.
So why do you think it's because your bloodline? Did she tell you why?
Yeah, she told me lots of things. Which one actually has something to do with reality? It's hard for me to tell. I mean, she tell me one thing and then contradict herself, and then it's just a lot of liars, and liars, they're gonna lie, and then they're gonna lie about the lie that they lied about.
Yeah. Right, it's hard to get the truth out of these people. Yeah.
She told me that everything that I was premeditated subject. Like I was programmed to. She told me I was programmed to like go off and shoot up a school or something, which is ridiculous.
What?
Because especially considering I spent 8 years trying to prevent school shootings.
Yeah, exactly. Like the opposite. That's the opposite, right?
I mean, the police in my hometown to try to, in retaliation for me calling out criminal conspiracy, for them trying to silence me back in 2018. They broke into my house without a warrant, pinged my phone without a warrant, got into my safe without a warrant when I was out of town, and then contacted the police in New Jersey requesting a SWAT team be dispatched to apprehend me, telling them that I was armed, homicidal, most likely headed for a school, and they just talked to me for like 20 minutes on the phone.
Oh my God!
While they searched my house, and like I was calm and like polite.
And they made something into something that wasn't even at all.
They were trying to have me murdered.
Yeah, they were trying. Yeah, this is what these SWAT. There are a lot. Other people are being swatted, is what I'm hearing, and and if you have a weapon in the house when they come in, they'll say you pointed a weapon at them and they'll kill you, or whatever.
It went back to one of my high school football coaches. He was in charge, supervising magistrate for all Southwest Virginia for 19 counties. For all the magistrates, and his wife, who was the deputy chief of police at the time. They pretty much tried to have me killed.
Wow. The deputies and the police. I've had so many issues with the police, and unfortunately, I guess it really comes down to they're following orders from the corporation, and now the corporation was dissolved by President Trump. The U.S. corporation, in 2019, and so we have to, they have to initiate like all new laws. If you dissolve the corporation, then you have to either fire all the police that were following the corporation, or force them to follow the new laws. And then if they don't, then you're fired. Like
it's not that simple. I mean,
it's totally a mess.
Yeah, corruption is corruption.
Yeah, it's corruption.
It's never going to go away. And so it's not just the corporation of the United States. It's the corporation of the CIA. It's
like you said. It's organizations beyond just these organizations. Yeah, it's other.
It's Alan Dulles' law firm that they rolled over and turned into Blackwater and then BlackRock.
Yeah, right. It's BlackRock, CIA. It's parts of the FBI, parts of the police, it's everything.
That's the state. I mean, the state is the financial institution, the central banks, the intelligence community, and like the Ghost Army, and the oligarchs, and the fucking pedophile elites, and that long list of Epstein clients that they're not releasing.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is two Americas. I mean, it's the one that we've been the illusion that we've been sold since we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this other darker thing that folks with power and money and connections.
Yeah, exactly.
And law enforcement and the police, they enforce the laws of those folks.
Of the elites, they're not there to protect us. So the quicker people can come to realize, look, don't even bother calling them. They're not really public servants for us. We just have to come to that reality that's the reality we're in with the police. They've never, so many people are just like, why bother? Like, what? I mean, it just doesn't do anything to get a police report anymore or anything. Like,
you mentioned earlier about how they all seem to be brainwashed.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, approximately 1/3 of the population is susceptible to hypnosis.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Another third is somewhat susceptible to hypnosis, and then the last third is not susceptible to hypnosis.
Right.
Well, the hypnosis that's constant. It's being broadcast through the cell towers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, frequencies that affect our how we feel and think and react, and through the programming of the news and of the entertainment system, and all of the messaging and programming that we get from programming on television or news programming.
Yeah.
And it's to get us to all believe in a certain direction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to be passively compliant.
Mm-hmm.
And the folks that get sucked into like spying on their neighbors and like doing things to harm other Americans.
Uh-huh.
They're either pathologically greedy, narcissist sociopaths, or they're concrete thinkers with low IQs that are easily swayed and easily influenced.
Yeah, exactly. It's a certain type of personality, and I guess I'm one of those where I don't get easily swayed. I don't get easily bamboozled. I kind of and I just am such a threat to these people. I'm just such a threat because I never fall for any of their stuff, and so that's why I'm just so targeted all the time, because I'm just like I've just been able to figure them out. I constantly like figure out their little games all the time, and they hate me for it. They hate me for that. So, but that's okay, because most people are too easily swayed, and you hate me because I'm not swayed. I don't get swayed. Oh, sorry.
Swayed is really nice, but you can't wear it when it's raining.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so I know mine targeting. Well, it started with being a whistleblower, but it also was prior to that, like you said, like yours, like it way back. Now that I think back, it was way back. I still remember stuff in high school, weird stuff that happened way back now, and so I know it has to do with my bloodline now. And so, but but so I guess I just try to bring awareness to the other targeted individuals, like how many agencies this involves, and that you're not crazy. A lot of us are going through the same thing, including other military people and everything, and other veterans. And so I guess all we're trying to do is just bring awareness to what has happened to us. And we've actually had these like handlers like watching us and following us, and like why do I need to be handled? Like what are you handling? Like why do you even call yourself a handler? Like the whole thing is so bizarre. Like see, like it's not like you think of the CIA as like 007 is so cool. It's not cool. These people are psychopaths. It's not cool like it maybe it was in the 70s, like when there was they were real CIA. But these are psychopaths now.
There still are some good people at the CIA. Okay. It's not all. They're not all the rogue, like folks that are utilizing their clearances and their access
for bad. And
they're not exactly.
Yeah, I would hope. I would hope there was some good. There's still some good ones, because they need to put the bad ones in line. Hopefully, there's good ones that'll help put the bad ones in line, because it's like I don't have the clearance to put them in line. Maybe some good ones are there, like you said, and
it's essentially three CIAs.
Okay.
There's the on the level CIA that is the Central Intelligence Agency that collects foreign data.
Yeah, it's supposed to do what they're supposed to do to protect the national security. Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. Right.
Okay. So then there's old school CIA. That a lot of folks that are retired but still have their clearances.
Okay.
That work for corporations or their own corporations that provide private intelligence services to corporations, politicians. I mean, Trump hired most of his own guys during the last administration to do his intel. And wasn't really utilizing the CIA in the same way that most presidents have. And since 9/11. This private intelligence industry has exploded. I mean, that's like all the data gathering, gang stalking, the targeting, so the corporation that's in charge of my gang stalking is owned by General John Epperly, who is the commander in chief of the National Guard.
Okay.
And he's married to my cousin.
Oh wow.
And he's his childhood best friends with one of the I guess the boyfriend, the housemate of the handler who broke cover and told me what was going on. I mean, and a few years before that, it's like I had been asked by the director of family family services for the Virginia National Guard to help create suicide prevention campaigns for the military. Specifically, I mean, I had a nonprofit organization. I did a lot of public speaking, and Major Colin Thomas, who's in charge of family services, was at an event, the Wounded Warrior event that I spoke at, and he wanted me to head that up.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was in a relationship with somebody who was intentionally undermining what I was doing, and things just the dots never got connected after that. I wound up in a car accident, got a bad concussion from an airbag, and then had post-concussive syndrome for a couple of years. And during that period of time, I met someone I had a child with. We had a tumultuous relationship, and then I became overtly targeted. I mean, initially when I announced that I was making a documentary about CTE called Brain Slosh, and then it started to pick up, and then in the summer of 2019, I published a 5-part series with the Goodman Project called. It's just talking about my life in football and like just the exploitation and the abuse and how it has affected me as a person. And the documentary I was working on, or that turned into this docuseries that I'm working on now, that it has more of a focus on the targeting program than CTE. Like after I published that 5-part series, suddenly I was getting followed back and forth from Nashville to Virginia and Virginia back to Tennessee. I mean, the whole way, the same cars, and people would like interject themselves into my life, like when I'd be out in the evenings in Nashville doing something, hanging out, and it's like an actor would show up in character, like this dude came dressed like a hippie, but it was like if an accountant in the '60s tried to dress like a hippie.
Like it didn't look. It didn't seem right.
No.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, when I was in Nashville, I get invited to a party, and one of the guys that put together this whole thing together was that guy. And he was putting a band together and wanted me to participate in that band, and just weird shit. Nashville's a huge psyop.
Yeah, I've heard that recently. Yeah.
Kathy O'Brien's she really kind of laid the groundwork for exposing a lot of that. But
yeah, years ago in Nashville, I had a real weird spiritual attack, just some spiritual attack, like just a demonic attack, and then I had I don't know, it's just like an energy there. It just was some kind of weird energy there with the whole industry there. And I didn't end up. I was there just for a short time, kind of checking it out. I was staying with a friend who was kind of his brother's in the industry, and and so I just didn't. It was something about the vibe.
It's a major psyop going on constantly. They're broadcasting V2K like over the whole city.
Okay.
Like, they're bouncing it off of Percy Priest Lake up there. From
I was picking up on something for sure. It was like kind of weird energy. It just didn't seem right. Yeah.
Do you remember the Christmas Day bombing a few years ago in 2020?
But not really.
There was a guy on 2nd Avenue who
oh yeah, that was near Nashville, right?
It was in Nashville, it was downtown.
It was yes, it was. What was that about? You think they were trying to take something out in Nashville?
He worked for AT&T for years. His dad had worked for AT&T, and it was a major switching hub.
It was a switching hub. Yes, I remember that.
And he parked the RV across the street from the building, and it took that out. And that's why the cell phone communication was disrupted for so long after that. But,
okay.
I mean, he went down there. He played warning, telling people to get away, and that played for 30 minutes before it detonated. And like
I remember that. So it was like somebody intentionally was trying to do something. I remember that. I'm like they took something out that day, and I wasn't sure if it was like the White Hats or
No, they took out that big switching hub where all that data is collected, and phone calls and everything are collected.
Like a data center. Data center.
Well, it's like a major hub for AT&T. Right
okay.
There. It's not just data, but it's where all the data passes through.
Okay.
And for cell phone communications and just phone communications in general.
Okay.
But yeah, that happened. But there's all kinds of shit that goes on there. I mean, country music itself is a form of propaganda. It's right wing propaganda.
Yeah. So it's like they just kind of make these stars, but they're not really like, they're kind of more like just psyop stars.
Well, I mean,
some of them.
They're not controversial. They're folks that are yes men.
Yeah.
That they can control easy, and like we were talking about, for handlers. Okay, in our culture, anybody that develops any level of fame or infamy, they assign people to us.
Yeah.
And and they do that as a way to control us from disrupting like their narrative.
Yeah.
What they want to have.
They do. Yes, they do.
And as a way to keep us from gaining attraction to where we're influencing the masses, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so what that looks like I had an old handler show up at my house today after 2 years of me telling him, 2 years ago I told him to fuck off and not come back on my property anymore and not to contact
me because
anymore.
You knew who he was. Because you called him out?
Yeah, exactly. And like I'm not going to let somebody abuse me in my own home and like and gaslight me and
right.
And try to fuck with my head and all this shit.
I mean, it's like we have to be smarter than these people and learn their tactics so the tactics don't work on us. We have to learn their tactics, and you know, because it's going to take a while to kind of get all this stuff cleaned up if we can get it cleaned up, you know. And in the meantime, you have to know the tactics so you don't fall for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he'd moved back from Florida to handler for me in 2022, beginning of 2022. And like he would just come around and like, hey man, want to party? You want to get some beers? You know, you want to smoke a joint? You want to get some acid? You want to hang out? You know. And it was like all the time, you know. And then he wanted to mentor me, but he wouldn't tell me for what or why. And I'm like, dude, I don't follow anybody blindly.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to do what you say because you said it without giving me any indication as to why the fuck we're doing this.
Why? Exactly. You're a free thinker. Yeah. Right.
So I showed up today. That was weird timing, you know.
Yeah.
And just shut up, just kind of smug look on his face. And it was just like, I'm here, you know, like, now what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, man? What's up? I just kept saying, what's up? Obviously, you're here for a reason. What's up?
What's up? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Well, a lot of people, you know, well, what they do is they isolate us so much. So then when they do come around, you're in a place where you've been isolated and you don't have a lot of other people around because they purposely isolate you before they bring these people in, and then all of a sudden this person shows up and you think they're a friend, and then and they know certain things about you. You're like, oh yeah, I have the same kind of interests or whatever, and then they'll be plants, and they would have already studied you, and they know a bunch of things about you, and they want to they're sent to befriend you and try to, but really they're there just to spy on you or whatever. And I've had those people in and out of my life all the time, and I've learned to pick up on them. But one of the hardest parts of this targeted is how they isolate you, and they make it hard for you to have friends because they start like some of my friends they've been targeted just for being friends with me, right? You've had that, yeah. So then they isolate you because some of your friends are afraid to talk to you. That's how bad it got for me for a while, and the same thing with relationships and stuff. It was hard.
I had three friends were hospitalized because of remote neuromonitoring.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, this is not some kind of thing you play around with. This is a very dangerous game, and they're murdering people with this technology. This is not a game, and so. Yeah, so anyway, I hope we can just bring enlightenment with the what we're telling people, and I just and Tommy knows a lot of stuff, and you can still talk about it well. You know how it's like some other TIs, like they're not right in the head. It's hard to understand what they're saying, and they come off like they're crazy. But you and I can still come off like we're,
Had you talked to me 2 years ago, I may not have had the same ability to
explain it.
Yeah, because now I see it for what it is.
Yeah, now you get it exactly.
When you're in the middle of it and it's just starting to happen, it's disturbing. It's designed to be disturbing. It's designed to have maximum psychological impact.
Yes.
And the goal, in a lot of ways, is to get you to commit suicide or to get you to commit some act of violence that's going to get you incarcerated or hospitalized.
Yeah, exactly.
And that way, you neutralize yourself.
Yeah, and then that way they don't have to actually send in somebody to kill you, because then you'll do damage to yourself. You'll be so scared, you're like somebody's gonna do, and then you call. You're like you freak out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you have more resolve than that, then sometimes they'll just Arkansas you.
Yeah. I was somehow able to kind of calm myself down when I was really freaked out several times. I was somehow able to calm myself down. I go for walks, or I play something Christian or something to calm me. And but some people, they totally freak out and they have mental breakdowns and.
Oh yeah.
But that's what they're designed to do, and so you have to find ways to kind of realize that this is a program that you've been put on, and that it's not real, it's not reality, and that your higher power is more powerful. And so you have to try to tap into that higher power, and they want you to go into these psychotic attacks or do something, and so you have to do the opposite. You have to just calm yourself down.
Well, there's a lot of propaganda and misinformation, and disinformation that's propagated and put forth, and there are agent provocateurs that will enter into your life and that will influence the way you think and how you see things. By introducing theories and different things that project blame on something that it's not, and like it's like I don't know. Are you familiar with Sabrina Wallace at all?
Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
I've heard of her, but I don't remember now.
Yeah, she's a synergist, and she breaks down the targeting and how it's done with the crystallography and through frequency and through the resonant frequency of our DNA.
Okay.
And then the nanotechnology that we're all like, that covers us and is in our food and in our medications and in the vaccines and in the drinks we drink. I mean, it's smart dust and like the graphene oxide, all these different components that become self-assembling mechanisms within networks within our own bodies that turn us into receivers and transmitters of 660 for the Internet of Things.
Yes.
And a lot of that's already been online since as early as 95.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're just and like the fact that they haven't talked about it, like doctors and like all these people that know what's up, and it's like through that technology, they can log into your brain, log into your DNA, and change your fucking DNA.
How do you get rid of these nano things? Do you know how to get rid of the nano things?
Well,
is there something?
There's ways to detox some of it, but the thing is, it's your own DNA that they eventually use to bond with it.
Yeah.
As a way to identify you specifically, and you have your own network central AI that's direct that's fucking with you.
Yeah.
And that has taken all the data that has been derived from targeting you and observing you, covertly, and then the overt targeting, and then all of the neurological data that they receive from putting these scenarios as a way to upset you or to startle you or scare you, and what they want is they want confirmed reactions. So if they have and it causes a fear response, then that's one. If they get that same fear response multiple times from similar things, then they've got that part of
yes.
Have you mapped?
And when I first got back from Arizona, I had a guy. I was staying at this place in Hastings, Minnesota. It was just like a month-to-month rental, and this guy moved in next door, and I heard him like making different noises over there, and it was like he never went anywhere. I knew he was like watching me, so I finally called the police one time, and they I mean, they just, went in there and questioned him a little bit, whatever. They didn't see anything, whatever. But, he did say that the guy had all this electronic equipment set up that he did not know what it was for. The police even told me that at the time. And he was electronic monitoring me, my brain waves. This is exactly what he was doing.
It's EEG.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he was doing. And the guy never went hardly anywhere, and it was just like, it didn't make sense. He said he worked for some manufacturing place in town, but he never left the house. It's like, whatever. Yeah, exactly. So that's what and so they were monitoring your brain response with that. And then with like that COVID test, how they would say to go do that swab for the COVID test, that can get your DNA, the COVID test swabs and different things like that.
Not just that. They also, put a bunch of xenobots into your sinus cavity from the swab itself.
Yes. I don't exactly, like, I don't recommend anybody to do any of those COVID testing. Yeah, of course.
I mean,
stay away from all that. They're
finding all this stuff in like in anesthetic for like dental anesthetics, all kinds of things that through microscopic photography. They've been find like all this self-assembling nanotechnology, and it creates more and more complex structures.
Yeah.
The longer that it's
inside of you.
Yeah, it's like all the clots that people are getting, they're dying of, and these coroners are pulling all these.
Oh yeah, the clots. I know. I've heard of. Yeah. That's from the COVID back. Yeah.
And it's a synthetic biology that has elements of PVC, elements of plastic, and elements of rubber, all combined into these clots that morticians mostly are talking about it, because they have to pull things out so that they can drain the body of blood and to put the formaldehyde in.
Yeah.
And so they're having to do that. They have to pull these things out to remove the obstruction.
Yes.
And they're like these big chunks of. And like
so the rise, bizarre, yeah.
The rise in the rates of turbo cancer and all these different things.
Yeah.
They're all related. It's all related to the. I mean, it's a depopulation campaign. They're trying to 90% of us off the planet.
Yeah, they are. It's scary. It's totally obvious. It's becoming totally obvious now. You want to get rid of 2/3 of the people. The New World Order agenda.
Yeah, we're moving into the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially we're the running man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like, it's so obvious now. We have to just wake up and talk openly about it. It's like, here we are. They tried to tell us they made a movie about it to try to warn us. And it's like, and they do these things in Hollywood, like, and we think they're just movies, and really they're forewarning us, like, the whole time about several movies, And it's like, okay, if you're too stupid to not know that this is what we were warning you, then you deserve to be a slave to us, because we warned you and you still didn't get it. Yeah. In their mind, that's how they validate themselves. Well, we did tell you. Went through a movie and everything, and you still didn't get it. So we're too stupid. So you deserve to be a slave. That's how they in their mind, that's how they validate themselves. Like, well, we warned you and you were too dumb, so we're gonna do what we're gonna do. It's not like we didn't warn you. But that, seriously, I think that's how they live with themselves. But anyway.
Yeah, the folks that are participating in this, they don't have emotions the same way that
Yeah, no, they don't. No, they don't.
They lack empathy. They lack compassion.
Yeah, they do. It's a certain personality, and it's hard. It's hard to understand.
It's very draconian,
Mm-hmm.
It's very lizard brain.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think. I mean, and nobody understands, like, how advanced these mind control programs are. I mean, the CIA has been doing these mind control programs on people in like mental institutions they were, practicing on since the 50s and 60s or whatever, and they were doing these horrible things in these mental institutions, and but now they got it down to a science, and
now they do it to everybody every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like
our phones.
Yeah, and it's mind control. It's mind control, and they're good at it, and it works. And a lot of people are on mind control, and
it's
or MK Ultra or something, and
it's the MK Ultra never ended. They just changed the name of it,
right?
And it went around, and it went to black budget programs and to corporations rather than the CIA itself,
right?
And what they did, basically what they did is they took Dr. Joseph Mengele's research, they continued it, they added technology, they added everything that the Stasi figured out, they added everything that all these different secret police programs from all over the world, the tactics that they have used, and then they added AI and put the cameras and nodes of communication within us through nanotech, and we're being digitized. Like it's the biodigital convergence that's going on right now, and the fact that they've put this synthetic biology basically in everybody, that most people don't recognize or notice that it's there. Some people, like I developed Morgellons disease, which is like,
oh, did you? Yeah.
It's an autoimmune reaction to the nanotech.
Yeah.
And just heavy load of like synthetic biological parasitic.
These like fiber type things. They're weird fiber. Yeah, I know. I've heard about it. Yeah.
I've got little tiny microprocessors that I found on my skin, and like different all these different weird like crystalline structures. And
oh my god, that's what I've heard. I've heard they're
lattice structures. That look like they're made out of silicone. Just really odd stuff, and like
that's crazy.
It is crazy, and when you try to describe it or show it to somebody, they think you're crazy because because like natural biology, these things don't occur and they don't exist.
No, yeah, exactly.
When you take the smartest thing on the planet, which is AI, it's not us, and the smartest AI that we have at our disposal through like ChatGPT and all these different things are. They're 40 to 50 years behind what the military has, and which is what is being conducted through the TI, the targeting program, and then we each individually have our own network-centric AI that's just assigned to us individually to fuck with us and to persuade us in different ways and to try to erode our sense of self-worth and all these different things. That also is part of a larger AI network that communicates and what they're trying to create to the concept of hive mind.
Yeah, the hive mind. Yeah.
And basically what they've done is they've hijacked and stolen all of our biomedical fields, which is our it's an electromagnetic field, which is our aura, which is a piece of our anatomy that they have hijacked and stolen, and it's hackable. The human brain is hackable, and there's no firewall. And so it's a good thing if it's really being used for like precision healthcare. But if somebody's gotten your code and your information and they have access to the machine, then they can remotely torture you, and nobody would know, be the wiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all levels of our privacy are that we're robbed of just because we're constantly being monitored.
Yeah.
Like, they can essentially tap into your optic nerve and to see what you're seeing, and through reading the movement, electromagnetic movement of energy through the brain and messaging through the brain, they can map and figure out what you're thinking.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of that. That That is so. Yeah, this stuff is just so crazy. I mean, we have to try to understand it more. But anyway, I think
that the physical like nuts and bolts and the bones of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been almost an hour. Is there anything else you want to explain or say? Otherwise, I'm going to try to wrap it up. Or just feel free to whatever else you want to say, and then I'm going to try to wrap it up here.
Well, if you're a TI, keep your head up.
Yeah.
And watch your back. Take care of yourself. Document everything.
Yeah, document everything.
Document everything. That's a key to like creating and like developing a case against somebody or group.
Yes.
And like if you got solid evidence on one person that's a part of it, they might be able to leverage that person.
Right.
To talk more about it. And honestly, like these things should be charged and tried as RICO cases because it's organized crime.
It is, yeah, right.
And in a lot of cases, it really is organized crime. It's either mafia or motorcycle gangs or all that. And take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Don't take time for granted. And
hopefully they can start processing this as RICO crimes and crimes against humanity. That's what they need to be processed as. RICO and crimes against humanity, right?
The people that are at the administrative level and that are running the programs, they need to be publicly executed.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
they've killed, like, this program is no joke. They've killed millions all over the world, because it's not just here. There's thousands and thousands of people in America, and there's thousands all over the world. So it's millions.
More than a million worldwide.
Yeah.
And over 600,000 Americans
are on this program. Is that's the numbers you got? About 600,000.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're just the test dummies.
Yeah.
For what's being rolled out for everybody, and the thing is, the perps and the people that are doing the targeting, they don't realize that they're going to get it worse than we did because AI sees them as a threat because they're already considered, traitors.
Well, I mean, they think that they're going to get away with this New World Order agenda, and they plan on continuing this, but if we wake up in time and, I mean, we have to start prosecuting these people or they will get away with it, so we have to wake up and, I mean, it's like they've been telling us for years, there's been books about it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to kill 2/3 of you with this New World Order agenda. And we thought this was like a joke. I mean, we've been warned. They openly said it on the Georgia Guidestones tell you right on there what they're trying to do. They said it right on the Georgia Guidestones. Those were demolished now. But, I mean, it's like we were warned. But we didn't take it seriously. It's like, I mean, I've been taking this stuff seriously. I've been listening intently. But a lot of people didn't. They thought it was like just a joke or something. It's not a joke.
Yeah, it's weird because you get tipped off into something, and then you start building a life and a future around that, and then the subject of that itself becomes so heavy and causes so much dissonance, cognitive dissonance. Probably. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
That you have to stop immersing yourself in it. And, for years, I would start going down these rabbit holes and finding information and more information.
And then you can drive yourself crazy.
And then at some point I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna go home and watch primetime television for 6 months, eat fast food and just drink beer and just cheer for the home team and
to try to cheer yourself up because it's so damn crazy. Yeah.
And put the blinders back on and act like I don't know a fucking thing. I mean, literally, throughout my adult life, there's been at least 5 times where I've had to like check out and like,
just check. Yeah, okay, I can't take this anymore. Yeah.
I can't talk about it anymore because everybody thinks I'm crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Except for the other people that were there.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for explaining all of that, and I'm gonna upload this tomorrow, and
Okay.
yeah. Well, I guess it'd be a lot more professional looking if I had the split screen, but like I said, I had problems in the past. This one time I tried to do that with a friend on Zoom, and then we recorded the whole thing, and then I couldn't upload it onto my channel. It was just bizarre. So anyway, we just did this way for now. And thanks again. Yeah, how do you contact you, and how do you find your?
Well, you contact me through Facebook. I'm sorry. I'm locked out of Facebook right now. But Facebook's Touchdown Tommy Edwards. My Instagram's the same. I'm locked out of both those accounts right now.
Your Facebook is Touchdown Tommy?
Yeah, Touchdown Tommy Edwards.
Touchdown Tommy, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm locked out of those right now. I have been for a couple months.
Okay.
Ever since, it's just weird stuff with the phone. But like my ex account is like Tommy01, something like that.
Okay.
And then but YouTube is Tommy Edwards 7260.
Okay.
And then my OnlyFans is Touchdown Tommy Edwards.
Okay.
Don't get too excited because it's just pictures of fans. I mean, I got ceiling fans. I got all these other things there, and
okay. All right. Thank you so much.
My Cash App is cash tag Dr. Gonzo Bing Bong with capital D and capital G.
Okay.
If you want to buy me a cup of coffee.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right. I'm going to
Bye-bye.
stop this. Okay.